Yes, I know. Looked pretty clowny just now, right? Dancing to my own tune. And it's all right here. Moving to my own beat. And it's all right here. Jamming to my own rhythm. And it's all right here. The constant inner self-talk that can't seem to or don't seem to turn off. And it's not just about the constant talk, but it's what type of talk. Stay tuned for today's show where we're going to be sharing with you more about that constant chatter, 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 chatter. I am Michelle L. Forbes, your host of the Win Win Live Show. Welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you here. So, as you sit and get cozy, be sure to go ahead and share, show us some love as you follow or subscribe, and leave a comment or two. And finally, be absolutely blessed as we share with you today the content that we've prepared just for you. The enemy is resistance. The enemy is resistance. Your busy brain, your constant inner self talk, constantly chatter, 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 chatter. And if you choose to give it the slightest glance of your attention, you would have started a million and one reasons why you can't do the thing, why you shouldn't do the thing, why you won't do the thing that you know you need to do and ought to do. So if the enemy is your busy brain with the constant chatter, the constant inner self-talk, then it begs to question who is not the enemy? That is a pertinent question to ask. Why? So that we don't spend our resources, our time, our focus, our attention on the wrong enemy. And so when it's time to go to battle, when it's time to go to war, all our artilleries would have been used up. So it is important that we know who is not the enemy. And specifically for what we are speaking about today, it's important for us to know who is not the enemy, because so often a shadow is cast upon the things that is not the enemy. And I'm going to share with you just about now. The enemy is not your lack of attention. The enemy is not your lack of preparation. Yes, I know you love to be on your A game. I too. I know you love to have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, all your technology and stuff like in place, every ducks lined up in a row. But that's not your enemy. The enemy is not the difficulty of the project, the assignment, or the business investment. And it's certainly not your competitors or the emptiness of your bank account. The enemy is resistance. That thing, that voice, that feeling, that emotion, that retreat to your comfort place. Putting it all together comes to one word: resistance. So, how do we counteract resistance? How do we fight this enemy and victoriously end up on the other side? How? You start before you're ready. You start before you're ready. You start before you're ready. If you don't, you will find a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, you're still getting ready. So much time would have been lost. So much opportunities would have been lost. So much connections would have been lost because that resistance would have been given room to stretch out and roll its role play within your life. So we start before we're ready. So before we move any further, let me ask you a question. What is that thing? What is that thing that you know, that you know, that you know you ought to do, you ought to be about already, but still haven't made that step? What is that thing? Take a moment just right here and hit the pause button if you must on the video, if you're watching the replay, and begin to think, what is that thing? Ask yourself the question, what is that thing that I know I ought to, have already stepped out and do that thing, be about that thing, have that thing, go that place? What is that thing? Is it to write a book? Is it to create a course? Is it to shift your career? Is it to start a business? Is it to make a shift in your business? Is it to take on partners in your business? What is that thing? I want you to become very clear and be brutally honest with yourself as to what is that thing. So that by the end of this video, at least you would have already not only know and be very clear on what that thing is, but know and be very clear on that step that you're going to be making before this month comes to an end. So another question I have for you, how long have you been walking around with this thing? How long? Is it a year? Has it been a couple of years? Has it been a month? Has it been a week? Has it been a day? How long have you been walking around with this thing that you know you ought to be doing? Even more, how much longer will you be walking around with this thing that you know you ought to be doing, you ought to be about? How much longer? It's time to step. It's time to start. It's time to just get up and do it. No more preparation needed. You're prepared, already prepared. No needing to finish and be absolutely ready. You're all ready. Right now, you're ready. Just make the move. Just do it now. Start before you're ready. I want to pause here just for a quick moment to let you know, in the event that you need, that you desire an accountability partner to be about that thing already, and as you're being about it, to be absolutely sure that you get to the end on the other side, please feel free to go ahead and DM me. I would absolutely be delighted to be there, to stand, to lock arms with you and be your accountability partner as you be about that thing. Enjoy with me this promo, and we'll be right back to continue our good stuff right after. So what are the benefits of you pushing against resistance and coming out victoriously on the other side, having done the thing? What are the benefits? Are there benefits? There absolutely is. And we'll touch on some of them today. The benefit of you being fully satisfied, you being so satisfied, so delighted, so full of joy. First and foremost, simply because you took that step. You started before you were ready. You refused to wait any longer, and you started. Not to mention the benefit of you being able to say, I did it. I did that thing. I'm right now on the road in executing that thing, in bringing that thing to life. I'm engaging in it. I did it. I absolutely did it. And then as you stay there and begin to broaden the scope of what you did, you'll begin to see the lives that are now or that would then be affected, impacted, influenced as a result of you doing that thing, as a result of you deciding that I'm gonna sit no longer and play patty cake, sitting in my comfort zone. Hmm. And as you broaden that scope some more, you'll begin to see the ripple effect of the lives of those people, what you would have done, your step that you would have taken, and the ripple effect of that thing, that move in the lives of those you directly impact, now being indirectly impact, now indirect impact being made to their network, their family, their friends. Can you see the picture with me? It's so much bigger than you. So much bigger. That's testimony in and of itself. Why you ought to be about it already. Why it is pertinent for you to make that move, for you to take that step, for you to just do it now. So how do you combat? How do you counteract your busy brain? I'll share with you 4 actions, 4 key actions that you can take to do just that. 1, set a guard. Set a guard as it pertains to the thoughts that are allowed to enter. I want you to know that the thoughts we allow to enter, they enter with an intention to do whatever it is that that thought is about. So we want to be sure to set a guard concerning the thoughts that we allow to enter, as that chitter chatter would come to our brain. Yeah? So I'll give you a little bit more about that. So a key question to ask as you set that guard in place is, will this thought work for or against me? Will it work for or against the thing that I am intentional about accomplishing? And based on the answer to that question, when the different thoughts come knocking, the answer to that question is dependent on the action that is to follow. So of course, if it's going to work for us, then by all means, you open the door and you allow it to enter so it can do its work to assist us along this journey that we're on. And of course, if it's going to work against us, then of course the door is going to be shut, slam shut, sealed tight. That thought would not have entry into our scheme of things as it pertains to what we are creating with our mind, using our brain, putting it to work through the thoughts, those inner self chatter that comes to us. So will it serve us or will it work against us? Is it going to bring us value or is it going to cause us to be devalued? As you set the guard, it is important that you ask key questions as such. Yeah. And then you take the necessary actions dependent on the answer to those key questions. Then set and establish quiet times when you shut down all the external noise. And as you shut down the external noise, you begin to one by one shut down the internal chatter. What does that look like? You shut down the external noise and you sit down now to have that quiet time. And then the chatter comes into your mind about, what am I going to prepare for dinner this evening? You shut it down. The chatter comes to your brain about, okay, so what am I going to do tomorrow when I go to work concerning this thing or that thing? After asking the key question, you decide on the action that's necessary. Okay. The chatter looking something like, as it comes in, so how am I going to deal with this situation with this family member or that friend? Shut it down. Shut it down. So we shut out all the external noise. And then we turn inward to shut down each chapter. As we enter that place of being still. Why? Say to our brains, rest, oh my brain, rest. And if during this time, if there's anything that is to be said, let it be expressions of gratitude. Let it be affirmations, affirming you. Let it be expressions of gratitude. Let it be affirmations. If there is anything to be said, but it is key to get quiet. One of the key things here about getting quiet is so that you will begin to hear what God has been saying to you for oh so long. But because there's been so much noise, it's like he has been having to just clear through noise after noise, chatter after chatter, just to reach to you with one message, with one word. So as you lock down the external noise and begin to intentionally lock down the inner noise, it's like you cleaning house, where that thing you've been looking for so long, you find it like, this is where it's been all along. So during that time, one of the things you'll find is a question that you have maybe been asked for years, you've been asking it, or for a couple of months, or maybe last week. It will just pop in your mind, and then the answer will just be right there. Direct illustration to what I just shared as it pertains to you cleaning house, and you see, like, it's been there all this time. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, the answer to that thing has been there all this time. But because of all the chatter, all the noise, external and internal, you just haven't been able to hear. And the key action that you can take on the tail end, when you know that you're coming out of, soon to come out of that quiet place, is you take the bull by the horn, you take the steering wheel, and you decide how you want to steer your brain. You decide how you want to steer your brain, in what direction you want your brain to go, your thoughts, your inner self talks. You decide how, where, when. And how do you do that? By asking questions. Key questions, insightful questions, asking questions, questions pertaining to that thing that you know you ought to be about. And then, of course, because we're not going to commit it to memory, before you get up and walk away from that quiet place, you write it all down. You write it down because not very many days from then, from that point, you're going to need to refer back to what you would have written. So to be sure that you fully maximized your quiet times, you write down all that you would have received during that quiet time. And then you strategize to put action to them and in the timelines that those actions are necessary. So today, I trust that you would have been blessed. I know you would have been blessed. You would have been charged. You would have been challenged, as I would have shared with you today. And my simple request to you is, don't wait. Start before you're ready. Wait no longer. The time is now. Your time is now. And you're closer to that thing manifesting. You're closer to the other side, getting over victoriously onto the other side than you think. Wait no longer. Start before you're ready. All your I's don't need to be dotted. All your T's don't need to be crossed. Start before you're ready. God bless you. God bless you and your families. You have a wonderful rest of the weekend and this Sunday. Enjoy what's left of it. From what I can see outside, it is beautiful, bright, sunny right here in Toronto. So be about it. Be about that thing. Be about it. And absolutely, if you would like some accountability, because having an accountability partner is an absolute game changer, feel free to DM me and we can talk some more and see if we're a great fit to get that thing done that you've been wanting, meaning for so long, to just do it. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Win-Win Life show. Be sure, if you haven't already, hit the follow or the subscribe, leave a comment before you leave, and share. If this has blessed you just even in one way, go ahead and share. Don't keep it all to yourself. Share. Have a wonderful rest of the Sunday. We look forward to reconnecting with you like this, in this manner, come next Sunday. And from here on outward, here on forward, we're going to be leaving some snippets for you to feast on as we go through the week. God bless you until we meet again. Au revoir.